Well, hello. Time to do another video on Florida living. And just thought I'd do it on raising chickens. Probably going to be a two-parter because I don't want to go too long. And get it to where you can get the gist of it. First of all, getting a chicken coop and a run. Well, we're going to change the one tarp. We put that on because there was a storm coming. But we bought a run and the chicken coop. And as you can see, inside is the chicken coop. And it has bars in there that they roost on. And we got all this from Wayfair, actually. The run, which is a frame with chicken wire all around it. And as you can see, I put some heavier wire on it where coyotes and dogs and fox can't really get through it. Also, I went down another 2 feet and brought it away from the run and buried it so that if a dog or something tries to dig, they're not going to be successful. The other thing I did was add an electric fence. And I brought the wire up from the garage. The unit is in the garage because it's not supposed to be outside. And I powered it up there and brought the wire out to the wire here, connected it, the power side here to the wires, and then I ran the ground wire, which is a bare copper wire, over to a copper pipe buried in the ground. Now you can buy a copper grounding rod, which is about $30 some, or I had this copper pipe which I spent about $5 or $6 on, and it's about 5 feet long, and I just drove it into the ground. And here in Florida it's not a problem to drive it in the ground, just make sure you don't drive it into wires or pipe. And this electric fence was for pets, to keep them inside, and it puts out 300 volts intermittently, of course. Otherwise, you know, that it would grab hold of whatever touches it and kill them. This just zaps you. My wife likes to put flowers on things, so she dressed up the chicken coop. So that's pretty much the chicken coop. The water right there holds about 4 gallons of water, although I only fill it halfway and then I change it out about every couple days, clean it up and all that. And then the garbage can over there is what I will put feed in eventually when the chickens get bigger. Right now I just put it on the ground because they're too small. They'd actually climb into one of those pipes probably and get stuck. But for now, feeding on the ground is perfectly fine for them. Getting chicks, where you want to get them, a reputable person. We went on Facebook, and there's a site that's, for us, it's a Tallahassee Backyard Poultry, and they had recommendations of places that have chicks, and we found one that was reputable and a person that raised them responsibly, etc. So we were able to get several chicks. We got a bantam, which is right there, and then that one feeding right in the middle is called a Niederheiner. Look it up. It's a German chicken, and it's kind of a rare chicken, but they're really, we wanted good-natured chickens. And so you can see they still do pecking order. So, but find a good reputable place to get your chicks, and then you're going to have to raise them in the garage or in a room in the house or something to keep them warmer, because little chicks can't handle anything less than about 90 degrees. And also, you want to make sure that they can't get pinned in a corner, especially if you get a lot of them. We only got 11, so it wasn't quite as bad. But if you get a lot, you got to make sure they don't get pinned in a corner and suffocated. So what we did when I raised them up north is I just cut a piece of cardboard box, cut it, and then made it round so that there was no corners for them to get stuck in. And you want to put the heat lamp in, but high enough and far enough on one side where the chicks can get away from it if they want to, because another bad thing is getting overheated. And so you don't want to get them overheated. So you give them a space to where they can get warm if they want to, and then they can cool off a little bit. And then, of course, a small waterer and a small feeder. And you'll get chick feed. And again, get that from a feed store is the best thing to do. You want to get a good feed. Check it out online. You can find out the reviews and different things, but I recommend a feed store if you can possibly get them at a feed store. The bigger stores, you know, and I don't want to mention anything or any particular store, but when you go to bigger stores, they're not so worried about the health of a chicken. So they just want to sell the feed. So go to, you know, a good feed store, farm, co-op, something where they can give you the best kind of seed and feed that you can get for the price. Chick feed already has gravel in it, and so that you don't have to worry about the gravel, because chickens have a crop. And a crop is what gathers the seed in, and then it grinds it up inside them. They don't have a stomach that grinds it up. Their crop grinds it up, and so they need gravel or something to grind the seed. So as they get older, you're going to give them a feed that is more substantial, and so then you're going to want to have gravel and oyster shells if you want to have layers. Oyster shells give them the calcium to get a good solid shell on the egg. So gravel and oyster shells, another thing that you're going to want to look into. The bedding, as you can see, we just kind of threw pine needles in, which works fine. But newspaper for sure. They sell bedding. Whatever trips your trigger as far as that goes, it's fine. Chicks they're not picky. Chickens aren't picky. They like whatever. They, you know, mostly the biggest thing for chicks is the warmth. Then, well, let's see. Chickens don't take a lot to take care of, but you do have to pay attention to what's going on. The feed that they're eating right now, chick feed, is also got some medication in it to help fight off any diseases. You can also get water that has what they call electrolytes. And I would recommend, if you're going to get friars or chickens that you want to raise for meat, in the first stages of their life they grow pretty fast, and so you want to give them electrolyte so they don't grow so fast that we had that issue where their legs kind of started curling underneath because they couldn't bear the weight. They grow so fast. So that's about it for this part 1. Part 2, I'll cover some other things. So you want to be sure to get on to part 2. So, all right, enough of this one.